Hey guys, welcome to this video. So, if you think about it deeply, most humans, most of us, half of our lives we look forward to something. It could be some event, could be some life change, could be anything. And the other half of our lives we spend the other half realizing that it was all really pointless. There was no point to it, and it was not as good as we thought it would be. I mean, if you think about it, it could be when we're students, it could be getting into a good college, getting into a good university, or when we're older, it could be getting a promotion in our job or whatever. I mean, half of our lives, if you think about it, more or less. I'm not saying the first half or the second half, but if I analyze the entire life of most individuals, more or less half of their lives, they expect something, they look forward to something, they dream of something, and they usually spend the other half like thinking, oh my god, it was actually pointless after all. It was not. Was it really worth all the trouble I went through? No, I mean, in the case of education and job, getting into a good college, good university is still important. I mean, not just for your subjective satisfaction or for like even objectively it is important, but we also look forward to a lot of other things which are not really important, and even for like getting into a good college or that kind of stuff, even that is, I think, not as important as we think it is. They do not deserve the kind of. I mean, if you think about it, that's true at the end of the day. So the reason I'm making this video, the reason I'm sharing this with you is that why do we dream? There's a very good I have a very kind of hypothesis. I don't know whether it makes sense to you or not. I would like to know that, in fact, in the comments if you're watching the video. But I think the reason why we dream is that it's a kind of an evolutionary instinct, because all of our emotions, if you think about it, I do not like emotions. I like to detach myself from emotions because emotions. I'm not very good at processing and handling emotions. I think I've told this stuff in some of my previous videos. I don't know whether you have watched those particular videos or not, but yeah. But I never said, or even if I do not believe that emotions are meaningless, because to yeah, of course, emotions are inherently meaningless, objectively meaningless, no doubt about it. But I mean, if you think about it, if you want to analyze human behavior, then emotions, you have to take into account emotions, because after all, 99.99% people, they set much store by emotions. And the reason is not that they're fools. The reason is that it's an evolutionary kind. See, for instance, emotions like fear, as I already told in one of my previous videos, I already explained this point. It's a very obvious point actually. Some emotions like fear, they aid in our survival because they help us quickly get away from dangerous situations. I'm not saying I mean, of course, there is some basic genetic, I mean, hereditary instincts also play a part here. Some instincts also play a part. It's not because only of the emotion called fear, but they play an important role, right? I mean, if we were actually fearless, entirely fearless, then suppose we're facing a dangerous situation and we would not like we would not care actually. That's not a. I mean, that's not good for survival. On the other hand, there are more subtle emotions like love. What about love? See, love is kind of I would say it has no direct survival advantage. I mean, of course, if you do not love someone, you can survive, but love actually has a very important purpose. I should say, from the point of view of evolution, because the evolutionary goal of any species, including us humans, is that we need to reproduce and create more offspring, create more humans. So where does love come into the picture? Well, love is actually binds the parents together, because human babies need a lot of care. Unlike the babies of wild animals, human babies need a lot of care. So we need to ensure that not only that the parents reproduce and create a baby, but the parents stay together to take care of the baby until and unless the baby is grown up. So, and humans need prolonged care because we are very kind of live-wired. Our neural machinery is live-wired, unlike other animals, and we are we need a lot of care when we are growing up, right? So and yeah, evolution just wants to ensure that we have the best chances of survival. So love is just that. Love has been developed. This sense of love, emotion, it has developed in us by evolution, by nature over so many years because of that. Now, of course, when I say this to people, there are a lot of people will say, lot of people do say that no, love is important. My life I have a lover or I have a friend. These are very important to me. A lot of my friends say this, I don't know about a lot, but at least a few do. I mean, because I don't talk with a lot. If I talk with a lot, I think most of them would say similar things. That's why they are similar, not different. That emotions are important to me. I know, because that's what makes me human. I'm ready to go through the ups and downs. I know that emotion, it won't always be happy, but I'm ready to go through all those pain, all those sadness, because that makes me human. I mean, what's the point of being human? Why are you so proud about? Because of course, we are programmed to think that way. That being human is something important. Being human, feeling emotions is something important. So we continue to set much store by emotions, be it love, be it whatever it is. I mean, both the positive and the negative emotions. Point is, being human is not gonna at least for me, seeking the truth is much more important than being human. And if I strictly be human, that means I absolutely refuse to look beyond what I am pre-programmed to do by evolution. I'm refusing to look beyond emotions. It's not a good thing, because if you want to seek the truth, and by that I mean the objective truth, not your subjective truth. Subjectively, truth varies from person to person. For you, the most true thing in your life may be your love, subjectively, but that can never be objective truth, and it's not even a question of argument, because objective truth is something which everyone agrees on. Not just that, something which is I should say scientifically verified. It first of all, it should satisfy the hypothesis of being falsifiable, or being, first of all, being a scientific hypothesis, and then it should be verified both by experiment, and we should have a consistent we should be able to consistently link this truth to the other objective truths. That's objectivity. That's what I'm after. That's what a true scientist should be after. That's what a true seeker of truth should be after. Not just scientists, but mostly scientists. Because yeah, again, for philosophy, I think that's for another video. That's debatable. Now the point is, so most humans spend half their lives chasing chasing some goals which appear very meaningful to them, like subjectively meaningful goals, but they're actually objectively meaningless. And the other they spend the other half of the life realizing how pointless it was. It's kind of like a balance, because all humans go through like this kind of thing. Half of their lives they think they're doing something meaningful, the other half they realize that it was pointless. Now there are a few group of people, the ones who are extraordinary, I should say genius, not genius actually, but I mean the ones who are really the seekers of truth. Whether they're genius, whether they're talented, whether they are very good scientists, that doesn't make any difference for what I'm saying here. Okay, but there are a few people who have the power to look beyond the ordinary, and they spend the first half, not necessarily just the continuous first half of their life, but more or less they spend half of their lives chasing something which society or which most other human think is pointless, like chasing an abstract idea, chasing an abstract dream. People are like, why are you doing this? This is not gonna get you a good job. This is not gonna land you a good job. This is not gonna get you money. This is not gonna get you a good status in society. Nobody will marry you if you don't have a job. That kind of thing. So society thinks it's pointless. It's better to study a conventional degree and get a good job and get a house, get a car, get a wife, that kind of thing, or get a spouse, get a life partner. But the point is, what these people do for the first half, for this half of their life, they do it because they think they're chasing objective truth, and that to them is much more important than any kind of external validation, social validation from society, from other people, even money. Yeah, of course, money is something non-negotiable. A little amount of money is required for a survival. But I think you get the point, right? And the other half of their lives, for these kind of individuals, for the other half of their lives, they usually they have some objectively deep realizations, and they discover some truths about life, or maybe even about the universe if they're lucky, that the others can only hope to comprehend. So that is the thing. Even they don't spend they spend half of their lives chasing something which is usually generally perceived as pointless, but the other half they find meaning in their own pursuit. Maybe they're not always validated by society, but they find meaning in that, and that's why they do that. Of course it's a lonely path. Usually it's a lonely path, but they don't even care about companionship and anything. They don't want to remain here. They want to go higher. They don't want to be the similar. They want to be different. They don't want to do it together. They want to do it alone. And most importantly, they don't want to find meaning. They want to find truth, because as I have said many times, if you seek meaning in life, you will get it. You can create your own meaning. That's what we are pre-programmed to do, because meaning, in that case, meaning is just something you create just so that you enjoy life and so that you survive. That's what evolution wants. But that's not the truth. So if you seek meaning, you will get it. But if you seek truth, then you will understand sooner or later that there is actually no meaning. And that's it. Life is our quest to find meaning in a world that is inherently meaningless. So because all life will die and all mind will cease, and one day it will be as if it had never happened. And that is the goal. If you think about it, that is the inevitable destiny. If you not in the sense like evolution has a purpose, but if you just in a way of speaking, that's where we're headed. So life is no more than a match struck in the dark and blown out again, and the final result is to deprive it completely of meaning. Sounds nihilistic, and maybe that is nihilistic in some sense, but I don't think nihilism is just a negative, pessimistic philosophy. I don't believe in nihilism. Believe those nihilists who say that everything should be destroyed and oh my god, everything is meaningless, so what can I do? Of course, everything is inherently meaningless. There is no objective meaning in life. But I never, even as a nihilist, I never think that that means we should destroy everything, we should destroy life. No, there is a lot you can do in your life. So I believe in living life my own way and seeking truth, not meaning. So even I believe life is meaningless, but I think that's no reason to stop living life in my own way, enjoying in my own way. Well, enjoying in my own way, see, happiness again is not the most important thing to me, because I could be happy if I just go with the flow. That I would be happier than if I go against the flow. But as I always tell, truth is more important to me than meaning. And define the standards, not only the social standards, but also the evolution standards. Everyone thinks evolution wants me to just live a normal life, survive and reproduce and have babies. I won't do that. I will seek something more. That is the motivating factor. And once you get to that level, you don't really need any external. Even if the world is against you, if people think you're crazy, people think it won't really matter very much. If once you get to that level, it's difficult. It won't happen overnight. So that's the point. And so I mentioned, why do we dream in this near the start of this video. Well, I think that also has an evolutionary reason. Of course, I am not an expert in psychology and everything, but dreams do serve a purpose. Dreams kind of persuade us to continue living a meaningless life. Dreams, we do not dream because, see, we need something to look forward to in our lives. I told you, we spend most of the ordinary people, they spend half their lives looking forward to something, and then they don't realize this it's actually meaningless. Then they think this is the most important thing ever, right? So dreams serve that purpose. They give us something to live for. They give us meaning. They give meaning to our lives. Okay, I have these dreams I have to work towards, and that's not always a bad thing. See, I also have a dream to uncover the truth or to live life my own way. That is also a dream. But yeah, some dreams are objectively true, and some dreams are just subjective dreams. So, but in general, I think dreams also serve that kind of, you could say, evolutionary purpose. They give us something to live for, even if the dream is very far-fetched, or even if it may not be fulfilled. I mean, we all have our own dreams. Some of our very deepest dreams which we do not share with one, and which even we know that will never get fulfilled. But we do like to kind of daydream or fantasize about those stuff from time to time. And like see, if you're young, your dream could be being a Harry Potter wizard. That could be a dream if you're young. If you're older, if you're old enough to realize that that is a fantasy, you still could have some dreams which will never be true in reality, some unrealistic dreams. So dreams kind of serve the purpose of, like, you need something to look forward to. And that will only help you, like if you have the dream, you have kind of an internal, unconscious motivation to live. And that's what evolution wants, for you to survive. Otherwise, you would be just a depressed fellow, oh my god, what's happening? There is no meaning in life. Yeah, some people who can look beyond this, they're like the true nihilists and all, they understand this. So I think dreams also serve the purpose to persuade us to continue living a meaningless existence. Dreams do not come true in most of the cases. If you think about it, dreams do not come true in most of the cases. The real dreams that you have, the big dreams that you have, they do not come true in most of the cases. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to discuss in this video, just some thoughts. Yeah. It's up to you. There is no right path or wrong path. It's up to you. If you ordinary people, they spend half of their lives chasing a conventional, chasing some conventional dreams, and they spend half of their lives looking forward to something which they think meaningful, but that's not actually objectively meaningful. And they spend the other half of their life, I won't say they regret the other half, but they have to live with the realization that it was not actually very meaningful. But there is also a small group of people, like I said, who spend half of their lives going in a very different direction from the ordinary people, and then the other half they spend it in a very good way, because they can find meaning in their own pursuit. Even if the world may not validate them, they still find meaning in their own pursuit. They may be lonely, they may not be very happy. That's a different thing. But I think at the end of the day, your life is, I mean, see, you will be remembered for your works, for what you contributed, for what new stuff you contributed. Not just, there are a lot of scientists, they publish a lot of papers, but did you have any impact on a large group of people, not just on one of your close friends or maybe your wife or anything? Did you have an impact on a large group of people? Did you give some new insights? Did you show humanity a new path, a new way of thinking? Whether people accepted it or whether people thought you were crazy is a different thing. But after all, you'll be remembered for your original works. Nobody can take your works from you. You will not be remembered for your relationships, for how you behaved how many friends you had, whether you misbehaved with your friend, whether you cut people off. Nobody is going to remember you for that. That's not the kind of legacy I want. Legacy, it's not also the kind of legacy like I will pass on like my family will continue, I will have a kid, I will have a baby. That's also not the kind of legacy I want. The kind of legacy I want is I will at least have an influence on some people, and that is objective influence, not just the people I know, my friends or my family or my relatives. objective people who don't even know me, but they maybe they read my book and they text me, they send a DM to me on LinkedIn that I read your book and it give an entirely new perspective to think about the world. That is the kind of, kind of inspiring people, having a legacy through my ideas and my work, not through my relationship and not through doing what the rest of them do. Because one day, let me finish the video by saying this: one day your entire life will flash in your eyes, flash in your minds, like a movie. One day, maybe when you're on your deathbed or something, it's obvious. One day in the future, your life will flash like a movie in your mind, in front of your eyes. So it's up to you to make sure it's worth watching. Of course, I'm not sure whether you want to watch a very conventional, typical kind of movie, or whether you want to create a strong, unique narrative for yourself. But it's up to you to make sure that the movie is worth watching. Thank you.